Insight Talk Radio Show was born from the need to spread the word to all who want to live the amazing life the Creator has intended for us. Reverend Janet Reynolds has 30 years of spiritual insight and experience. She has studied and taught in and outside of this country and has developed a respect for all religions, beliefs, and spiritual practices that are of God's true light. The lessons she learned are now shared every week on Insight Talk Radio. Tune in every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2:30 for spiritual guidance, tips, and techniques to aid you in your life's journey. The show also features interesting guest phone readings, healings, and meditations.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our show, Insight. I am Janet Reynolds, your host for today. I am a spirit medium, intuitive counselor with the help of Blue Feather, my guide. I also would like to say that Insight is proudly part of the Talk Wide network, so please feel free to check out other shows on the network by going to www.talkwide.com. Today, we are talking about hypnosis, and I'm going to say calmness because hypnosis does create and can create a calmness. And my special guest today is Patricia Scott, and Patty is a certified medical hypnotherapist since 1992. She is also a certified master trainer for the International Association of Counselors and Therapists. There's much more, so I will let her speak to you. So, Patty, say good afternoon, please.
Good afternoon.
Oh,
It's nice to be here.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Let please everybody know a little bit about you, and then, well, I'll start with that. Let everybody know a little bit about you.
A little bit about you. Oh, that question from show business. Tell us a little bit about yourself. That's one of those ones. Well, let's see. How far back would you like me to go?
Ooh.
Because I've been doing hypnosis professionally for 20 years, but before that, I was 20 years in show business.
Oh, you know what? Next time.
That's where I learned how to do this, actually.
In show business.
You betcha.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Who would have thunk it, huh?
Yeah, you're right. I was going to say, how did that lead to that?
Oh, the universe has very interesting ways of, pulling and pushing and prodding and getting you to go in the right direction. Sometimes we pay attention right away.
Mm-hmm.
Other times we kind of resist, shall I say,
Mm-hmm.
for a while. And I had hands on my back pushing me in this direction for probably 5 years before I finally gave in and opened my eyes and saw this was my next calling, and it definitely was my next calling.
Yes.
And I love every second of it.
Give in or gave in is a good way
Surrender.
to say, yes, surrender, because if we don't do it one way, they make us do it another. Isn't that correct?
Keep getting hints. We can pay attention or we can ignore them.
I know, but when we ignore them, they still catch up with us.
They persist. They persist.
Yes.
And it's nice that they persist when they're good for you.
Yes, and you're correct in that. If anyone has a question today or would like to join in with our conversation on hypnosis, you're more than welcome to do that. And I would ask you to please call 727-597-4022. Now, what I always do is I look our word up in Wikipedia. And this time, looking up hypnosis, or looking up the word of the day, I should say, Wikipedia really had a lot of very good information on hypnosis.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and I was really pleasantly surprised. So I will read what they have to say about hypnosis. And I'm not going to read all of it, of course, because this time it's 3 pages.
Pick up the whole hour.
It would. This time it's actually 3 pages, which surprised me on this. So I'm really glad to know that they put that much time into hypnosis, because I really feel hypnosis is quite important and for a lot of people, and I feel it does a lot of good for us. Do you agree?
Certainly. Absolutely.
Yes. So hypnosis is a special psychological state with there I go again with my words, with certain Say that word for me.
They saying those big words here.
Yes,
Let's see here. With certain psychological attributes.
Yes.
My eyes are still working here. Resembling sleep. Well, hypnosis, the word came from the word sleep, but it really isn't sleep. It's actually heightened awareness, but we'll keep going here.
Yeah.
Only superficially and marked by a functioning of the individual at a level of awareness other than the ordinary. I love this altered state of awareness. What is a normal state of awareness? We're laughing. That's an altered state right there.
Exactly. It's also a Greek word.
Yes.
That's one
Hypnos. That's where that came from.
Yes,
the
comes
idea
from
of sleep.
Yes, and you're right, hypnos.
Mm-hmm.
So is a Greek word. So
I teach this stuff.
I know you do. And believe it or not, I actually took this class also, but I think it's been every bit of 10 years ago.
And I just found that out today after knowing you all this time.
I know.
You had the same teacher I had 20 years ago.
I know, and it was a very good class. The class was so well done. I went to D.C. to take the class, and it went to Atlanta, Georgia, a couple months later. So I went up to Atlanta, Georgia, because it was free, and I took it up there again, just so that I could get all of the information correct in my mind, because there's a lot to it. I feel when you hypnotize people, you need to really be responsible in how you do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, you can learn it from books, but the trainings that I give, I really believe in hands-on practice. The way to get to Carnegie Hall, right? Practice, practice, practice. And it applies to this definitely as well.
And it does. And the other thing that I'm going to read one more thing from Wikipedia, hopefully, is hypnosis is usually induced by a procedure known as a hypnotic induction, which is commonly composed of a long series of preliminary instructions and suggestions. Hypnotic suggestions may be delivered by a hypnotist in the presence of the subject or may be self-administered. And I like the self-administered, and meaning you can hypnotize yourself,
yes,
which I'm sure a lot of people don't believe that, because there's so much controversy on hypnosis.
Well, there's controversy depending on where you look, but most of the really good books that have been written, the research on hypnosis, you'll see the phrase quite often, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And I teach that in my classes, and sometimes people say, what are you talking about? I say, well, if you don't cooperate and want to be hypnotized, the greatest hypnotist in the world can't put you into that state.
And
it takes cooperation.
Right. You have to want to be hypnotized in order for it to work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're right, people don't want to do, well, they're afraid.
Well, some people are, and that just tells me they don't understand what it is, because people hypnotize themselves all the time. They just don't think of it with that language, under those terms.
Like looking at the flames in the fireplace.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Reading a book and getting emotionally charged, or watching a movie and getting some tears in your eyes. That's a form of hypnosis. It's suspending conscious, logical thought temporarily so that your imagination can take over, and the physical body is run through the imagination, through thought, through the emotions. The imagination runs the emotions. So people don't think of it like that, but when I explain what hypnosis is and when I teach people how to explain it, that's the easiest way to explain it, is because it's really just a brainwave state. It's not a strange state at all. It's a specific state that is conducive to learning things and to accessing information in your mind and retraining the mind, literally remapping the brain.
Yes. But a lot of people think that when you get hypnotized, that you have no control. They feel like that if you hypnotize me, I won't be able to come out of it, or I won't be able to do anything. And that's not true either.
No, absolutely. You're actually in more control. You're more in control, because when people will come up to me at like networking events and they'll say, are you going to hypnotize me to make me do something? And they'll say, or make me quit smoking, for instance. And I'll say, well, do you want to smoke? And they'll say, well, yeah. I'll say, well, then, keep doing it. But if people are smoking and they're fighting themselves, saying, I don't want to be a smoker, or anything else. You could apply this to anything. Or they want to make $1 million, but they keep sabotaging themselves. It can be any goal. And if they're struggling with it, that means that their creative mind, their unconscious mind, has some kind of programming that might have started when they were 2 years old or before.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fighting themselves, because if it's something that's possible and they keep sabotaging it, the person who's a smoker is not in control if they say they want to stop, or overeating or any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to people and they have that misconception, I'll say, how about if you get more in control so that you can take it or leave it? Then you actually have control to say no to something, or to just avoid it, or not have any emotion about it at all. Because it's the stress of that fighting and those kinds of things. Stress is usually at the bottom of almost everything I work with people.
It's really keeping the mind calm, wouldn't you say?
It's focused.
Yeah,
My
focused.
favorite definition, if you want to hear it, of hypnosis after all these years, it takes it, because there's millions of them out there. But I think of it as concentrated, focused attention on what's going to get you the result in the moment, to the exclusion of the peripheral distractions that would interfere with that. And if you think of a golfer getting ready to hit a putt, they go into a little mini trance, and their focused attention is on hitting that ball. With their eyes open, they're in a little mini hypnosis trance that they've trained in.
And you're right. It is a matter of keeping your mind still, calm, or keeping yourself focused, or telling ego, please move away. So, and that's the hard part for a lot of people. But
it's like anything else. The more people practice it, the better and healthier it feels. So the body and the mind working together tend to learn it very quickly. You can learn to be a non-smoker much quicker than being a smoker. Because someone had to really work at getting the body to accept a cigarette, for instance.
Yeah.
It's not a natural process, and it isn't healthy. And since the unconscious part of the mind that I deal with runs the body and knows what's going on in the cells, when you offer it a better option that's healthy for the person, it's my theory that that's why it works so fast. Because it still amazes me after all these years. I'm just amazed at how quickly someone can shift from a habit they've had for 20, 30, sometimes 40 years, and just instantly
let go of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do need help a couple months down the road, don't you think? Or
the only time when I work with smokers, for instance, we're staying on that theme, the only ones through the years that I found were coming back were people who had some traumatic event that happened in their life, and they didn't have a better option for dealing with stress. And at that point, within the first 4 or 5 years of doing this, or maybe sooner, I realized that. So I stopped giving people a smoking reinforcement CD, because they're done with that. And I started teaching them strategies for dealing with stress. I give them a stress CD, a stress reduction CD. And once they've got those techniques, then it's not a problem anymore. It's just it's the stress that would make someone go back to a former habit.
Yeah,
because it's maybe the only option that the mind can come up with that used to work at some point in in their history.
And it's because they want to work their hands too.
Sometimes
they're used to smoking that cigarette.
Yeah.
Well, when I was young, I seriously tried to smoke.
Seriously tried.
I seriously tried.
Really
I really did. I really did, but it didn't work. It didn't work for me because I just couldn't stand the taste the next morning.
Sure.
I don't know how people do that. It wasn't a good taste for me.
Yeah.
Let me just say that.
And the goal isn't to smoke a cigarette. That just happens to be the vehicle at that point in history that was cool, or it was the thing that everyone was doing, and you wanted to be an adult or whatever.
Well, that was what that was about.
Sure.
All the
That's
kids
the real
I
goal. That's the real goal. Yeah.
All those kids that I hung out with wanted to smoke. So I said, okay, I'll try this. Well, I couldn't do it. So I moved away from it. Of course, I didn't do it. But let's say 4 out of 5 of the kids that I traveled with ended up smoking.
Sure.
And the other reason why I didn't smoke was because they cost money.
Yeah, a lot less back then, I'll bet.
Oh, it was. But I'm sure that what they cost back then is equivalent to today's in our mind, because they're very expensive. They're $8 a pack now.
Yeah. And that does help some people. For some people, it's the money that will be their incentive or their motive. They just have to have something that's more important. Because I know people that have been told they're going to die if they don't quit smoking, and they keep smoking.
And they keep smoking.
And that's not even enough incentive. So it just depends on what's important to the person. For most people, it is about health as they get older.
Right. And they will smoke when they've been told not to smoke. I find that so crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
And yet there's people like my dad in his 70s that just decided one day he was tired of walking outside of the VFW in the snow and smoking, having to smoke outside when they put that law in.
Mm-hmm.
And he just said, this is baloney. He used a different word.
I'm sure he
and
did.
he threw them away, and that was the end of it. Never smoked again, never even thought about it.
Oh, isn't that something?
So, some people, it's when the switch is with smoking more than anything else. But I really believe I've seen these kind of almost what some people would say are miraculous changes happen that swiftly, even for physical ailments, which it like I said, it still amazes me. But with the smoker, once you flip the switch, it's done.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, unless something happens that would trigger an old response, and you want to make sure you have a better response already trained in.
Right.
And that's about stress. Almost everything comes back to what do I do when I'm, stressed, when something stressful happens. And if you have a strategy, then you don't go back to the old things. You find better strategies that cause you to be healthier.
Well, yes. And my younger son stopped smoking. My older son still smokes.
Yeah.
So my daughter does not smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. I'm glad about that. And I find ways of release. Mine is working out. So if I can work out, and I have a trainer one day a week, and I did have him for Victor, God love his heart. I did have him longer than that. I used to have him 3 days a week for about 5 or 6 years. I've been around him now 9 years, going into 9 years. So he comes to see me one day a week. So by the time he gets there, I have lots to let go of. So
it's a great stress reliever.
Yes, it is.
Exercise is. And then I have people that come to me for weight loss that say they hate exercise. So you got to shift that attitude.
thought.
To me, mostly what I work with when I work with hypnosis, I don't care whatever the person, because I do a lot of medical issues. I love working with medical issues and pain relief and those kind of things. The thing is, whatever the person is wanting to have happen, it's like, how can they think about it? How can they change their attitude about it in a way that they feel differently?
Mm-hmm.
That's really what we're doing. We're helping people learn how to think in a way that makes them feel differently. Because as long as someone's fighting themselves over, overeating or pain issues or whatever it is, making more money, playing better sports, whatever it is, that then they're fighting the most powerful part of their mind. The imagination is going to win every single time. So I think of hypnosis as opening that channel. It's opening, and about these kinds of things, and whatever the person's belief systems are, or whatever their idea is for whatever the realm is of that abstract part of the mind, and what all of the things it can tap into, because it also seems to improve creativity, seems to tap into our intuitive or whatever all the words for that kind of a realm is. And that kind of thing. So it's really opening the channel to all that we are. I think of it more like that.
Yeah.
All that we are, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
I don't need names for some, some things, but it really opens the channel to all of our resources, where a lot of people are walking around only using the conscious part of their mind, which is really the most limiting part of our mind.
Exactly.
Because my company's called Unlimited Possibilities, right? That's where that came from.
See,
it's the unlimited realm.
That was one thing that we did not mention. And what I'm going to do is ask you to mention it, but let me tell everybody what the phone number is in case they would like to call in and ask
that would be a
question for what we are speaking about. Its phone number is 727-597-4022. So whatever your question is, please give us a call, and we'll try to answer it for you. Now, Patricia, we forgot to mention the name of your company.
I do that often. I don't know why. Yeah, well, it's Unlimited Possibilities. That's what it had been in California, where I started for many years. Then when I moved to Florida, about 10 years ago now, I guess, I incorporated and I added the word hypnosis, because I am so proud of that word. And when somebody has any challenge with it, I'm more than happy to enlighten them about what it really is. So my company is Unlimited Possibilities Hypnosis Incorporated, and it's so long it doesn't fit on a lot of things. And I have had that up symbol for Unlimited Possibilities for a long time. I like that idea of up.
Yeah.
It's kind of a affirmation as well. It's a mindset to me that reminds me of the unlimited possibilities that life offers. And then when I started the training part of the institute, I started the institute, the Up Hypnosis Institute, which the initials are up high, which I think is kind of cool.
Yes, I know.
Being a 60s gal.
There you go.
Get high on life without the previous things that we used to use.
Yes, the things that, yeah. I don't think
Legally.
we better discuss that one.
No.
I did not. That's
I'm sure no one
thing.
knows what we're talking about.
That is one thing I did not do that much of.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, you were so good. You didn't smoke. You
No.
that other
I did
stuff?
have one or two incidences, but it was when
Do we want to talk about it?
well, it was fun.
Oh, there you go.
I did go to a party one time.
Yeah,
And
you went to a party one time.
Yeah, one time.
Amazing. What a wild lady.
and everybody was doing their thing. I'll just say it that
Yeah,
way. And
yeah.
of course, I did
Mild
join.
compared to these days, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, I joined in for a couple puffs,
Uh-huh.
and of course, I didn't know how to smoke. But anyway, when I left the party, it was so funny. I drove off. I thought I was fine,
Ooh.
and I went down to the stop sign and I stopped, and that's exactly what happened. I stopped. I sat there. I know 20 minutes.
Oh.
So
Hope it was a small town.
it was a
Yeah.
small town, and it was a good thing nobody came behind me, or it was a four-way stop.
Oh, my goodness.
So
They were thinking, boy, this lady's really, really nice. She's letting everybody go.
yeah, and so when I woke up,
Yeah. Talk about an altered state, by the way.
that was an altered
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
That was.
Artificially induced. You know what?
Mhm.
And like I said, to me, I am so high on life with doing this work and just with watching other people transform themselves, because I'm just a guide. I'm someone who facilitates.
Mhm.
Like I said, it really is all self-hypnosis. I don't do anything to anyone, and I can't give them anything they don't already have. I just help them to access it, and it's so much fun.
Well,
It
yes.
is a high,
Yeah, it is. Yes.
a healthy one.
Yes, and it is that too. And you really need to want to do it.
Yes,
You really do.
you have to be motivated. Yeah.
Yes, and you really do get control of your mind, and that's what it's about. And then once you focus on that, then it makes it better for you or easier for you.
Sure.
I feel so. Okay, so now tell us where your office is located.
I'm on East Lake Road at Tarpon Woods Boulevard on the east side of Lake Tarpon, which, yes, it is Palm Harbor, even though they call it the East Lake area. I think Palm Harbor Chamber of Commerce forgets that we're part of part of Palm Harbor still, but I keep reminding them. So there you go.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's right at the entrance to the Tarpon Woods Country Club, and it's across from John Chestnut Park. Nice
Oh,
little facility. We have a training room and a couple of private session rooms there, and it's very
and you do classes,
peaceful.
right?
I do classes there. We do hypnosis and NLP certifications. I've done specialty trainings for medical hypnotherapy. We do core transformation classes with Michael Watson from Orlando, one of my favorite trainers to bring in for a lot of different things. And we do a lot of small classes for the public. I do healthy body classes and a lot of
I
fun
really
things.
should have brought my old paperwork. I really should have, because the names of the teachers were in there and you probably knew you probably knew who they were.
Oh, I'm sure. I know a
know.
lot of people in this field.
Yeah. See, so
Yeah. Well, Dr. Krasner, who I started with in '92 out in California, and I guess he was in Anaheim or somewhere in that area back then.
I think Anaheim. I think you're correct.
Yeah,
in
the
that.
American Institute of Hypnotherapy, which is no longer, by the way.
No.
No, he had the American Board of Hypnotherapy, which I was certified through, and they were bought by Tad James. He
Oh.
actually kind of handpicked him to take over his organization, and there's a lot of history about all that, but I
Has
don't
that
need
been
to get
quite a while?
into. But
No.
well,
Has
I
that
was
been a
involved with
while
them
ago?
until I moved to Florida, and there was kind of a I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it. The organization kind of had a
Drastic change.
drastic change. Thank you.
There you go.
And I'm not sure where it landed, to be honest with you. I know Dick Sutphin was involved for a while as the head of as the director at the American Board, but I haven't heard from them in a few years, so I guess I'm not a member anymore. But I'm more
Oh.
involved with the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association, which
Yeah.
I've been with for quite a while, and the International Association of Counselors and Therapists. And
Yeah.
they're kind of combined now under Robert Otto, who bought both organizations within the last 5 years and has now an overriding organization, umbrella organization, so to speak. So they still have their focuses separately, but they have over 9,000 members worldwide now, and literally is an amazingly worldwide organization with so many resources that's where I channel all of my students now.
Oh, that's good.
For that,
See, I had a thought. It just went that way.
A thought. It'll come back.
Yeah, it better hurry up.
They do. They do come back.
You know what? How long? That was what the thought was. It just come back.
Totally.
How long ago was that that it changed hands like that?
First, Robert bought the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association. Are you talking about those groups?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about
I
Krasner?
want Krasner, but I want you to talk about, that was the other thought, about the dental part, because I remember you telling the story about going to the dentist.
Oh, getting my beautiful crowns.
Yes, and not having any anesthesia
right.
or any.
Well, yeah, I'm trained in anesthesia hypnotherapy, right, or hypnotic anesthesiology, they call it sometimes. But I've been using it through the years, getting crowns in California. I had a couple of back crowns put on and some root planning, cleaning, different things. And with no anesthesia, no numbing agent, because, I have to walk the walk, right? And when I, just within the last I guess about 4 or 5 months ago, I decided to get my front teeth done. I had a lot of fillings in them through the years that were not looking great. And I found a dentist here, a new dentist, and I had 6 crowns put on in 2 sessions with no anesthesia, no numbing agent, just using hypnotic anesthesia. And it was kind of interesting. My biggest challenge was to get him to stop talking, because every time he would talk, he kept saying, "Oh, are you okay? Are you okay?" And this is amazing. I just can't believe this. And the second session, I thought I had, emphasized not to talk, but he kept doing it anyway because he just couldn't believe that I was going through it. And it was a challenge for me because I'm used to being in Hawaii on the beach and playing and having a good time.
Yeah.
But it went really well. Just the same. Like most things in life, when you get a challenge, you usually get better at dealing with things.
If
right?
you had 6, I'm sure you.
Yeah,
did
all
get
6
better.
front teeth, and it was in front, so I knew it was going to be more of a challenge right there, just because it's right there. And it's pretty amazing because the brain has chemicals that a doctor once reminded me are 10,000 times stronger than the strongest Valium man ever created. So, when it comes to pain management, relieving discomfort, those kind of things. When it comes to anesthesia, they've done open heart surgeries with no anesthesia. There's been lots of surgeries done with no anesthesia, and everybody's heard of hypnobirthing, of course.
Yeah.
So the brain can be taught to release chemicals that can numb parts of the body, that can relieve discomfort, and that can help you to heal faster too. It's already in there. It's in the design, as they say.
Yeah, it's in the body.
Yeah.
But you know what? In all honesty, Patty,
Yes.
I don't think I could do the dentist.
Well, if you think you can't, you can't.
I
That's
know.
the whole trick.
I know.
We tell ourselves that, and then that takes us down a different
I
road.
needed you to say that to me again.
Yeah. Well, and maybe the incentive isn't really that important to you. To me, it was important because I do what I do. And if I couldn't do it myself, then I'm incongruent in my belief system. I have to, since I know it's possible, I would be cheating myself out of the opportunity to demonstrate it and to have that available for my students to tell them about it.
It makes sense because, like, in the beginning when we started talking, I said I've hypnotized myself. See,
Sure.
So I know
And you're even aware that you've done it.
Yes.
Because most people hypnotize themselves a lot and aren't aware they're doing it too.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was aware because I would sit down and listen to music and really talk to my subconscious. And I had difficulty dancing with the gentleman that I was dating.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why I couldn't follow him. I just couldn't. And so what I did is I would sit down and hypnotize myself or talk to myself and get my subconscious going. And
Nice. Because it really is just a conversation.
that's true.
It's a conversation. The
That's-
ritual of hypnosis is kind of fun, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. Like you said, soft music and relaxation. But the ritual of hypnosis isn't what it is. It's, it's the dressing kind of that surrounds it. And it helps people to believe something happened. But the real hypnosis goes on inside the mind.
Yes. And there are certain ways of doing it. So, like I use music, but then once I do it, I go down the steps.
Stairway,
I make
yeah,
a stairway.
sure.
Yes. So, and I know that there's other ways of of doing that. So give us a couple more for instances.
Oh, my goodness. Well, a stairway is what we call a deepening technique.
Okay.
The reason that people use deepening techniques is mainly because of the belief systems that it's going to take something to make this happen. Once you've learned how to do it, you can take 1 or 2 breaths and be probably, there's the beta level of brain waves, then there's alpha, light alpha. We're in most of the day. We're in that kind of light hypnotic state, like when you're driving and things like that. And then you go into theta. But once you've learned how to do it and you trust it and you know that it's safe and that you're actually accessing your resources even more efficiently than when you're kind of busy and, with your day and kind of scattered, it centers you and you can take 1 breath. And if I also trained in EEG biofeedback because I wanted to see what are those brain waves doing when we do what we call hypnosis. And to go into that alpha, I could probably do it in 1 breath, definitely be into alpha, and probably theta within 3. Just because I trust it now and I know that it's the most healthy place to be. The body, it's like when you sleep at night, your body gets a lot more efficient at processing food and at, keeping the heart and all that. Your immune system gets stronger. And the same thing happens in hypnosis. Studies show that 20 or 30 minutes of hypnosis is equal to getting a good night's sleep as far as the physiology and all that is concerned. So it's a very healthy thing to do to give your body that chance to get into that healthy mode, that efficient mode.
And it'll get you through your day.
And it clears the mind, and it unclutters the mind, and it does take practice for some people. Yeah.
But I want you to know that being that I did do that, I did and was able to dance with that individual.
Dance. Wonderful.
And that really, that told me right there, which I already knew anyway, that if we did that to ourselves, or if we just believed about it, that it would work.
And you had incentive. You wanted it.
Oh, I wanted so bad to follow him because I didn't think he danced well at all. I really didn't.
Well, there may have been some other things about that that were challenging other than...
Well, yes, because it was okay that he didn't know how to dance. He was really a handsome man. But I did learn to follow him. And then when we did go out, I would go right up. I'd go right up.
Nice.
And I would get calm, and then I would concentrate and do it. So it is definitely something that that people should, or individuals should look into if they have a lot of problems or stress or.
Yeah, it's just a way to learn how to use your resources. That's the way I look at it.
Right. Right.
And with allergies, when I was about 20, before I even learned hypnosis, I got rid of my cat allergy because I loved cats. And I didn't know what I did until I started studying books on hypnosis back in those days. And I said, oh, that's what I did. So it was a natural thing I did because my incentive was that I loved cats. And I figured out how to do it like you did with the, you have some training too, but we do these things sometimes instinctively. This is just with the neurolinguistic programming, the NLP and hypnosis, it teaches you more efficient language to talk to that unconscious. So you don't sometimes have to just stumble along and try to figure it out on your own. So it's just a more efficient way.
Now that you mention that, Patty, that's good that you say that because I do have a lot of allergies. Of course, I'm allergic to cats. I'm allergic to dogs, the grass, all this. I took the 50 pinpoint test to find out about my allergies. And I have 2 cats. So, but in my mind, I have the cats so that I can build up an immunity. Or build my immune system up.
Is it working?
I think so.
Then the method that you've discovered works for you. It may not work for someone else, but that's the way this is. I teach techniques in classes, but I say the technique that's going to work is the one, it's the Janet technique, the Patty technique, and then you figure out what is it for that person, what's the incentive, and then the ritual of hypnosis is to kind of discover in what way can you think about this in a way that will allow you to deal with it or to handle it. There is if we have time.
We're still good.
Good. Just because we're talking about allergies, I've worked with allergies through the years. I've always had great success working with people on allergies. Right. Not too long ago, within the last 5 years, I believe it was, there's a lady named Ann King in Texas, and she got with an allergy clinic because she was having good results with hypnosis, but she wanted to get it documented medically. So she got with a allergy clinic. And she has a very simple process that she teaches now around the country. And it's a technique that is similar to many things that we've all used, but she had proven by blood tests before and after a single session with hypnosis, 70% of the people were getting rid of allergies with one session of this simple. If I told it to you, you'd say that's way too easy, and yet the immune system gets it. The correction is made. Blood tests before showed they were allergic to it. The blood test after the session proved that the allergy was gone. And sometimes it took 2 or 3 sessions, and then people were coming back and also getting rid of asthma and things like that.
Now
but it's a shift in.
You realize you can't go away without telling us how.
How?
Yeah.
Well, how many hours do we? I teach that in my classes. I actually teach that technique, and I wanted to bring up. We were talking about Al Krasner. The Wizard Within is the book that I started with back then. He had already written this book back 20 years ago when I worked with him. And when I became a trainer a few years ago for the International Association of Counselors and Therapists, they had another textbook as for their curriculum. I talked them into changing.
Oh.
And I use The Wizard Within as my text because it's still the most simple. It's a metaphor.
Yes.
See, the unconscious makes representations. It doesn't need, the details are interesting and the labels and all that and the names they have for everything. But the unconscious creates a representation for you. And The Wizard Within is a metaphor.
Wow, it's a very, very good book. It really is. And I have that book also. And the one thing that I really did, like I have said, is it was self-hypnosis.
Yes.
I was able to do that with myself. And probably in a sense where my allergies are concerned, it's a form of hypnosis. I've told my mind, well, we're going to deal with this and we're going to do it. And
that's the way to state it, by the way. Not we're going to try to do something, but we're going to do it. Your mind gets that kind of direction.
And there are some times when I get up in the morning, my eyes are swollen. But and there are some times, not always, but sometimes I take a Claritin D. But 90% of the time, I do well with the cats.
Nice.
And my son, my younger son, many years ago, before my mind became as strong as it is now, before all that I have learned, I did get a kitten, and I ended up giving it to my son because the asthma and the allergies overtook me, only because I allowed it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
your body's going to respond to elements that are foreign.
Right.
It's going to respond, and it's, like I said, if it's important enough, you could, work past something. Sometimes it's just not that important.
No.
And I fixed my eyesight with hypnosis. Did I mention that?
No.
Yeah. I used to wear glasses.
Oh, yes, I knew that about you. I knew the teeth and I knew the eyes.
Yeah.
So, see.
Well, there's a lot more, but
yes.
It's only an hour show.
I know. And we're going to tell them a little bit more, but we really need to just mention The Wizard Within one more time, and that it's by A.M. Krasner.
Dr. Krasner.
Yeah, Dr. Krasner.
And I do teach self-hypnosis classes once a month, too.
Well, this is where we want to go next.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell everyone, there's also another one that I have here, just to do if you'd like to compare apples and oranges, and it's called Modern Hypnosis Theory and Practice. And I'm going to pronounce the last name because it's easier than the first name, but the last name, I'm sure, and it's a doctor because it's a PhD, Dr. Ansari, Ansari, and it might even be pronounced
It's
Ansari.
Masood Ansari, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. See? How about that?
Ansari.
Okay, I'm going to make some announcements, but I'll let you start and tell everyone about your classes and all, or what you have coming up, please.
Oh, well, just like I said, we do a lot of fun things, but a self-hypnosis class, it's fun for me to teach, and I keep it very inexpensive because I love to teach people how to access and do this for themselves. So I do that once a month at my facility. In every January, there's something called World Hypnotism Day that started. I think this is the 8th year, and I've been in on it ever since the first one. And literally in countries all over the world, I think they're up to, I don't know how many countries, but all over the world, they celebrate World Hypnotism Day. And Tom Nicoli came up with this a few years ago. He's well known in the hypnosis world. And I have done an event every year, first weekend in January. It's actually January 4th. Sometimes it falls in the middle of the week, so we usually do a weekend event. This year, in 2013, it's going to be on a Friday. So I'm doing 2 free seminars on Friday, one at 1:30 and one at 6:30, so people can get in if they want. Just generic hypnosis, what it's about, what it can do for you. And on Saturday, I bring in a lot of my colleagues to come in, and we do back-to-back free seminars all day about all the different various ways that hypnosis is being used, things they're using it for. We have a panel with a question and answer. Everybody leaves with prizes. We give away a lot of stuff, and it's a fundraiser for hospice. So anything people donate, 100% goes to hospice. And there's a few of us, including myself. I've been doing this for a couple of years where I offer a free session for a donation of any amount.
Oh,
and
that's
a lot of
nice.
people are taking us up on that. My sessions, a single session is $215. So that's a good deal.
Yes, it is. And you know what? I worked hospice last night.
That's right. You told me that.
I
Yeah.
just, it was, I had to rub a gentleman. I didn't have to. Let me rephrase that. I really wanted to help him. The poor man was shaken. You know, when you work at hospice, you learn a lot. And I work over at Brookside, where it's the transitional, where when they come there, they're on their way to the other side. And I'm just getting comfortable with it. I've been doing this for a couple months also. And last night, he was shaken. That poor man was shaken. And I just patted his arm. I just rubbed his arm. The nurse asked me to do that, and I calmed him down. And finally, he went to sleep. So that was an experience for me last night. So, because that's the first time I've really done a hands-on to help.
Right.
And they do allow Reiki also.
Yes,
there, so
yes, they do.
I'm glad for that too, because I'm a Reiki healer also. But let me tell you what my events are. Oh, I will be working at Treasure Island this Saturday. That will be 12:15. I should say December the 15th, not the time 12:15. I'll be there from 11 to 4 o'clock. If you'd like an appointment for a reading, the phone number is 727-954-3444, and I'm at Benjamin's Studio in Treasure Island. I'm working Mystical Sense on Thursdays. I work 3 Thursdays out of the month. My one Thursday that I don't work there, I'm in the Villages, and I love to go down there. The people down there are really great. No, I should say up there, not
Up
down
there.
there. Yeah, up there. Yeah, up. UP.
I like that up. Yeah.
Yeah, that up. So I'll be there the 13th and the 27th this week from 12 to 5. And I'll be giving messages at the Temple of Light the last Thursday of the month. I'll be there at 7 o'clock. They'll be doing the service. I think Sandy's doing the service. And the last thing that I'd like to talk about is next week's show, Trish Golden, oh my goodness. Anyway. That went right out of my head. I'll have to call it back in.
Bring it
Yeah.
back.
Social media person. Yes.
There
You
you
know
go.
what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to do this, and that'll help. That was one of the things I learned in one of my classes at the Monroe Institute. So Trish is going to come on the show. It's called Let's Wing It, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to talk about 2012, Christmas, New Year's, just different topics just for a change of pace. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
When you were talking about the stroking the arm, that calming of a patient, I just wanted to mention that about 2 years ago, I became one of only 8 people from the International Association of Counselors and Therapists that is approved to offer hypnosis continuing education for nurses. They've been coming to my trainings through the years anyway, but now I actually have a module where they can get some credit, official credit,
isn't
for
that
taking the class. And they
nice?
find it fascinating, and some of the things they're doing already. You know, it's just finessing it, making it more efficient, and teaching some things that can make it even more effective. What they're doing with patients to help them to feel better. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they do a lot over there. They really do. They do a lot at hospice. It just amazes me. And I'm an avenue person. We joke. I say I'm a street person. I walk the halls, so we call that the avenue.
Yeah.
So, and I check with everybody to see if they need any help. meaning the families that come in
Yeah.
if they need anything, because a lot of the times the people that are there, their family that's there, of course, is dying, and sometimes they need counseling, and
Absolutely.
so it helps to really calm them down. But that poor man really did. He did stop shaking, and I was happy that he did that, and he did go to sleep. And then one of the other patients that was there, I got her coffee, so
And she started shaking. Just kidding.
No, but that's funny you say that, Patty, because I can't drink coffee at night anymore.
Well, it's not the best thing to drink at night before you go to sleep.
And that's true.
It's a stimulant, remember.
I know that. I know.
Some people can still do it, I guess.
Yeah, I'll have to train my mind not to want it in the morning, but I'm not ready to do that.
I'm not a coffee drinker.
Yeah. I know. God love you. We're sitting up at Starbucks.
Oh, that's right. Everybody wants to meet at Starbucks. I'm like, oh, gee. I'm such an amateur there. They have to teach me how to order something.
Yeah, how to order a cup of coffee. But I asked that lady last night, Dorothy, God love her. I said, how can you drink this late at night? Oh, no problem, And this is like 7:30 at night. And
sure.
Man, I would be hitting the walls. I would be hitting the walls. So, but Patty, I think we have about, wait a minute, and we got a good 8 minutes
goody.
left. Maybe 10.
No calls, huh? No.
No, that's what I'm just
like to know what other people would like to.
Yeah,
talk about.
No one has called in. Well, let me give you the phone number: 727-597-4022. I did ask my daughter today to call in or to try to watch the show, but she's got her second baby.
Oh.
And my second grandchild, so I'm
busy.
Yes, I'm guessing she's quite busy. But if you tune into spiritpioneers.com, after we are finished today, you can see the video, and it's live, and you can hear what Patty and I both have to say. Now, okay, what else would we like to tell them before you leave us, or before?
I don't know. I love to give things away. Maybe I can give all of your listeners something.
Oh, that would be good.
If they
Is that what you're trying to give away?
No, I'm giving you this. This is my Recycle Stress into Positive Energy CD. I've been using that for many years. I made it in a studio. I do all my CDs in studios because I used to be a singer, and I just can't stand the way a lot of them sound out there. So I like to do mine in studios. But that one's been so good. It actually was a cassette originally because they didn't have CDs back then. And I figured out how to get it onto a CD. But I've used that for years, and that's what I give my smokers, actually.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, because I love to calm my mind down.
Yeah.
And this is a good way to do it. And I do get stressed.
Well, stress is a part of life. When someone comes up to me and says, oh, I don't have any stress, I'm like, well, then you'd be flying off the planet because gravity is stress, right? I mean, there's stress, and there's good stress, and then there's stress that sometimes we respond to in less than efficient ways. And that's where this can help.
Yes, and not only this, it's good that I work out because of a lot that has been going on of late. It's sometimes it's just really hard to, I'm going to say, blow it off. You can't help it. Situations become what they become, and then you just learn to handle them. But there's days when I don't know. Don't you think the energy is high?
The energy is shifting, I think. That's my word for it. There's definitely something happening, and there's a mindset that's expecting something to happen, which might be adding to that as well, I think. And I think it's all good.
Well, it is.
That's just me, though.
Well, I think it's good. It might not be good at the time when we're stressed out, but it teaches us a lot.
Sure.
It really does.
Before we got on, we were talking about the sign behind us falling down, and I said, when things go smoothly in someone's life, it's like if you look back over your life, the things you remember the most are the high emotional moments. Those are the things that you really remember, whether they were positive or negative. And the ones that were kind of challenging to get through offered you something at the other side of it that you wouldn't have had available, some strengths that you built up getting through it usually that you wouldn't have had you not had that challenge. So
That's
true.
true.
If you can look at life as just a series of events, and now what do I do with it?
Mm-hmm.
It empowers you. We were talking about empowerment
And
earlier.
it does. It does. There are times when I didn't think that I could become a stronger woman.
And look at you here. You have your own radio show.
Yes,
You're
thank
powerful.
you. Yeah. And it's mind over matter. I tell myself, well, you can do this. And then you go and you do it. But that is...
My mind is over matter, by the way. It's much more powerful. I have my bent spoons at the office, too. That's always fun.
Oh.
We limit ourselves, and then when we get out of the way, it's amazing how much power we really do have.
I'll tell you what we'll do next show. The next time you come on,
I love to
you
bend
bring
things.
yes, I was going to say, you bring your spoons, and I'll bring my board.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
Yes.
I don't even know what it is, and it sounds like fun.
My board, I
You break boards.
I break boards.
See there?
Mind over matter.
Yeah.
Have you walked fire yet?
I haven't done the fire. I don't really feel a strong need to do that.
Okay.
But there are other things I've done that I guess, to me, like doing the teeth and different things that
Well, yeah.
to me are
More
those kinds
important.
of things. Yeah. Bending spoons is fun, but walking fire just somehow doesn't. I know a lot of people that have done it, though.
I've
and
done
it's- Yeah, yeah.
I've done it. I did
Yeah.
it about...
How about the broken glass thing? It's like,
yeah, I've walked on glass.
I'd rather save it for something really important to me.
Well, I really would like to say to you...
Because I already know it's possible.
Yes, Patty. I would say that if I went into the dentist and didn't take an anesthetic, and if I didn't slide out of the chair, that my powers are getting more strong. But I have walked glass. I've done the firewalk 3 times.
Nice.
But out of all of that, my favorite is breaking the boards.
Yeah.
I love it. So I saved the first board I ever broke. And I walked against an arrow. Had the arrow in my throat and walked against it.
Walked against an arrow. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I used to have the ones that I broke because when you walk against them, they're going to break or they're going to go through your throat. And thank God they broke. But anyway, that's mind over.
I haven't heard of that one. That's different.
Oh, yeah.
And it is just ways to access your belief systems and to get out of your own way. I think that's what most of those are designed to do. So if something is possible and you get out of the way, then it's there.
Oh, see,
are we running out of time?
See, guys, you know what?
I told you I could talk forever.
I know, we did good, and I'm right in there with you talking. Well, I just want to tell
Having too much
everybody,
fun.
Yes, thank you, and please tune in next week because we're going to wing it, and Trish will be here, and it's going to be great. So thank you once more, Patty. I really enjoyed it. Next time we'll do a 2-hour show. How's that?
Good. Can I give something away?
Oh, I don't know if we have enough time.
Okay.
Do we have enough time? 1 minute.
At uphypnosis.com, if you email me, or if you go to that website and email me, I will give you either your choice, a free self-hypnosis class you can come to, or I will send you my pamphlet that's for self-hypnosis, and you can do it yourself.
Tell
It's
them,
fun.
please mention this show.
It's a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah, mention that you heard this show, because, I don't give this away to everybody,
No.
Only to Janet's special people.
See, there you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, everyone. I have enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something. We had some really good, I think, information, tidbits, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us today on Insight. Join us weekly where we will give spiritual insight, tips, and techniques to aid you on your spiritual journey. May Spirit be with you.